Trump's tariffs are quietly crushing small town America. It's something that you want to pay attention to because there's a big difference between what goes on in the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue and those politically connected people on Wall Street and, well, there's the rest of us on Main Street. And I think that your contributions here really do matter. Your personal anecdotes, what you're experiencing, what you're sharing. Hey, maybe you've got downsized. Maybe your 403B plan has been compromised. Maybe your 529 plan you were using to save for your kids' college has gotten cut down. And so there's uncertainty out there, and nobody likes uncertainty. But I want to remind you that this channel really is designed for people just like us who need to feel connected, need to better understand what's going on, and hopefully put together an action plan that really helps us weather the storm that we see brewing out there. Hi, my name is Brian, and I come up with this weekly, daily, should I say, video cast on YouTube called The Economic Report. And I'm so excited that you're here today. Hit like, hit subscribe because I want to continue delivering meaningful content. But let's get down to business. So I wanted to share a comment that really stopped me in my tracks. A small town publisher barely hanging on was whacked by one of Trump's tariffs. And I'm throwing this out there to you because there are real people being affected by these tariffs, and it's under the umbrella that all these jobs are coming back to the United States. But here we have another example of the little guy on Main Street getting whacked by a tariff. 30% increase in his cost of doing business because the papers are published inside of Canada, they're printed inside of Canada, and they're brought over the border to the United States and whacked with that tariff. And this is just one story, but it really is such a meaningful story. Another person commented today, and I loved it. They said, hey, not only are paper products like newspapers made there, also our toilet paper is made in Canada. So that's really something to think about as well. And I found some humor there. So I'm sharing that with the audience as well. And thank you for leaving that comment because those are the kind of things like there is no way mainstream news media really picks up a story like that. But that's powerful, right? So, from our video on Trump's tariff strategy, Mike from New England wrote that I print a local magazine, I rely on Canadian paper. Trump's old tariff almost wiped me out, and now I'm getting whacked. We shared that story with you already. That was earlier this week, and I will have a link to that video because it really did resonate well with a ton of people. But there's more to add now. The truth is that there's people like Mike all over the United States. And let's be honest with you, in places like Canada, Mexico, jolly old England, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, and we're all getting hit by the tariffs. And while these tariffs are really designed to whack China, because let's face it, China's kind of a bad player out there, these tariffs really have a lot to do with how they're hitting people like us at the local economy and where we here really don't have too many alternatives. I mean, the fact that toilet paper could disappear should have a concern for everybody, right? But I want to make sure we're dialing in more completely on this. So we say, what happens when small town journalism is finished off? There's a huge gap in our quality of life, I think, the way we gather information, what we learn, how we share, and maybe our connectedness to one another. Another person commented earlier this week that, hey, what about all the small businesses that count on getting that paper into people's hands because maybe they run the pizza shop, the flower shop, a travel agency, maybe they sell tires at their car shop. The fact is, these things are very, very real stories. They're human stories. And once again, that's us on Main Street, right? So this is bigger than paper, of course, but we all understand paper, right? Tariffs equal price hikes downstream, and they eventually hit all of us, right? And you've heard of trickle down economics that the wealthy spend their money. Well, sometimes when Uh, Trickle down economics can also affect people like us on a very, very negative scale. Hey, my kid just had a car repair that needed to be done. I've been assured that those car parts for her Honda, they're going to cost more money. And guess what? That's trickled on down and hit Brian's pocketbook this week. How about you? Because the bottom line is, economic policy really isn't just about GDP. It's about family, right? It's about our ability to put a roof over our family's head, clothes on their back, food in their belly, and maybe the most important thing is pass the baton on to the next generation, right? I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave us a legacy of success. I want to leave a legacy of problem solving as well, that my family can see me working on their behalf and figuring out the best way to move our game forward under sometimes difficult circumstances, right? So if you live in a small town or run a small business, drop a comment. And even if you don't, darn it, please drop a comment because I love hearing from you folks. You're absolutely amazing. And uh, if there's one thing this channel's been doing, not only sharing like meaningful stories with you, but boy, making us feel a little bit more connected. Because when I feel connected, my awareness is raised quite a bit, and I'm very, very aware of bigger pictures going on. And sometimes we can have solutions together as this community does rally around one another as well. And that's kind of what I want to see happen here on the Economic Report. I want to remind you at the end of the day, this channel is a space that's built for you and me. And it's my sincere hope that we can engage, encourage, and inspire one another. That at the end of the day, we're in this together, but we're tough and we realize that there's bigger things going on and we're not alone, which I think is really important to understand. And maybe equally as important, that there's a support system that exists in sorts on this channel. My name is Brian. Hit like and subscribe so I can continue to put these stories right into your inbox. And with that, I want to remind you that the biggest battle we're fighting every single day is a battle between our ears. Go ahead, celebrate your victories, and remember, stay healthy because your health really does matter. Have a great day.